Previously, Coco creators and other game engines took forward in the designing 2D games, but now we're gonna develop 2D games with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Interesting, right? Here's a preview of a 2D game. You can control this with your joystick, keyboard, and mouse as well. We can add a lot more features, including multiplayer, but for now, let's go with single player. Let's create a setup function inside that. We're gonna set up prototypes generally. So I'll set three different prototypes, which are on, off, and remove. Then I am declaring variables which are can and ctx. Can generally check whether the browser supports it. Ctx generally it is a shorthand for the word context. That's it. Of course, you can use whatever name you like. There is no real naming convention in this instance. Randint variable is used to get random numbers, and we'll be using those random numbers inside rand variable. Inside rand variable, we are just returning a condition. If the statement is true, then true block returns, or else block returns. Let's create a game over function. We're gonna set up a mouse and player controls by declaring variables. Then we're going to set up the name of the weapons, but not in the same format. What I'm gonna do here is that I'll declare a few weapons inside a soft code and a few in the Now we're going to set up gun properties inside apply weapon properties functions. Okay, now let's set its initial position and other player properties. Here comes the real action, the fire on function. In this function, we're going to set up the fire function and reload function. Then we are initializing that with player variable. Okay, let's create zombies inside zombie function. We are setting up the movement, including its speed. The speed will be increased at every single drop. We need a lot more zombies, so let me create a for loop and I'll push the zombies in. Then let me create a shadow function and let's add some offsets and blur effects to make it more interesting. Then let me add grass to the environment. Let me set frames to update the user's gameplay experience. Calculate and add bullet size and its velocity. If the player shoots on the zombie, then it should die. That's what I am declaring inside a if condition. Let me create a for loop and add zombies movement control. Also, I've added some special powers when the user enter into a hardcore mode. Using random variables, we are gonna get a random number, and from that, we're going to gift a gun to the player when he shoots that zombie. This is generated from those random variables. Interesting, right? Okay, let's move on to the game over condition. If the user failed to save 3 lives, then we're gonna pop up a game over screen. Finally, we're going to set up keyboard controls. You can include joystick as well, but for now, let me set up a keyboard function. And that's it. Let's move on to CSS. Designing the body and background. Also, I'll add some remarkable fonts to make it more attractive. Getting to HTML, linking all those CSS and JavaScript files. Ultimately, we're ready to fly. Let's go.